The arc is a pretty entertaining story, and while inconsequential, it does some things that I quite liked. The story is effectively set in two time periods, sectioned off into the first and second half of the story. It makes for a bit of a change in pace and helps to keep the story more engaging. So in this episode, we meet these creatures called the Monoids, which look a little bit goofy, but I was totally able to roll with them. The conflict of them and the humans works well enough, and our character's involvement in helping them out works well as well. There's not really much to add in terms of that aspect of the episode. I like the Doctor as always, and Steven works fine in this story. The character that I really want to talk the most about in this episode is Dodo. She's a newcomer, and if I'm being totally honest, I don't really like her. She rather irritates me, and while not aggressively so, her just not caring attitude can be frustrating. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what it is, but if I understand it better in the future, then I will let you know. Although it is worth noting that at first I wasn't that keen on Ian, but I eventually came around on him and just came out quite liking him. So it's possible we will have a similar situation here. It's also possible I'll never like her. I do find myself curious as to how the Monoids eat, though. I mean, they have all this food made, but I can't figure out where they eat it. If any of you know the answer to that, I mean, feel free to let me know, because I'm just curious about that one. Wow, I really don't have much insight into this story at all. I mean, I enjoyed it a decent amount. I like that it takes place in multiple time periods and how that plays out and informs the story, but I don't have much to say about it. It's fairly inconsequential. I probably won't be remembering this one that well, if I'm being honest, but I did quite like it a decent amount. Overall, this story was entertaining and retained my attention throughout. Even if I am not down with our new cast member yet, I still enjoy the old ones. It's a forgettable yet entertaining adventure, and the arc earns a rating of 7.5 out of 10. So one thing about this episode, which is also not really about this episode that I want to mention, is that John Wiles exited as producer with this episode. This was his last episode that he produced. So, he did some, I think, 4 episodes, and the only one I'm really going to remember from his tenure is basically the Daleks Master Plan, which is, half of what he did, so it is something significant. But yeah, that's just something that I thought was worth mentioning. There's not a lot else to say about him. I mean, if we are looking at basically showrunner tenures or producer tenures, then his isn't really going to stand out to me all that much at all. But, he contributed to the show, and I appreciate him for that. So, yeah, thank you, John Wiles, for what you've done. If you join me again this coming Sunday, then I will be reviewing The Celestial Toymaker. I have already listened to this one, and I'm kind of, can't really say how I'm feeling about talking about it, because I don't want you to know how I feel about it until my review comes out, but let's just say I'll have some thoughts on that episode, and you'll see those thoughts on Sunday. So, yeah. Thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. That's going to be all for today, folks. Take care, and have a lovely week.